right, good rising, my people. Welcome back to Coffee Talk with Karen B. And yes, I deleted all the wrenches last week, so if you come into my chat and you haven't been here in the last week and you're missing your wrench, that's why I deleted them all. Because I went and I just, I had wrenches and it seemed like there was wrenches for people who don't really show up in the chat anymore. So I just deleted them all, and I figure those who actually show up in the chat who had a wrench before can have their wrench back. I just don't feel necessary to have a bunch of wrenches of people who aren't active in chat, because that's the whole point of having the wrench, is that you're in chat and you're monitoring the chat as you're in the chat. So, yeah, buddy. Today is Moonday. Let's see. March 13th, 2023. It is almost the real new year, which is pretty cool. I still don't have any updates for Flattoberfest, and I know people are asking me, and around this time, I usually am already making announcements and making promos. I should be. However, I am not. Not yet. And honestly, I don't know 100% sure that there will be an event this year at this point. But I'm not giving up. But we'll just see what happens. Okay? So, I do have some special people who are helping me. But we'll see how it works out. Okay? But for now, still no update. However, let's see. There are meetups going on, even though they're not, it's not that big, don't have any Flattoberfest news. Excuse me. But we do have meetups. If you go to flatearthfestivals.com and click right here, Flat Earth Friendly Meetups brings you to this page, and we've got a meetup coming up in Melbourne, Florida, hosted by Shelley Oler for April 1st, which is the new year, the true new year. Oh, we just did this. I need to change this. Ha. Oh, I'm not logged in anymore. Okay, but anyway, this was the meetup we had yesterday at Drayton Mills. Actually, let me upload these pictures to Telegram so I can share. It was a pretty good turnout. So here we go. There's our nice group of people. Yeah, there's Zach, Cammie, Brian, me, Sarah, Tiffany, and then you can see we had lots of children. Here's Julie, and Carl's back there. Anyway, there's a lot of people that came out, and a lot of people brought their children. This place was really cool, actually. We may do meetups here again because it actually worked out really well. They have this cool seating area in this bar, and there's other restaurants and stuff, and this little it's like a little, what is it called? It's called Drayton Mills, whatever. But it's this little mall complex area where it's just food and beer, and it's a place to hang out. And they had a really cool area there, and it was child friendly. So we may do more meetups there in the future because it worked out really well. There was lots of room, and it was a cool place, and they had good beer. So thanks to everybody who showed up. Yeah. There you go. Jonna. Yeah, it was a good time. So Yeah. And then let's see. There's going to be another meetup this weekend, you guys. So this Saturday, if you're in California, on the 18th, there's going to be a meetup in Sunset Beach. Okay, it's hosted by Trudy and Renee Calusea, and his contact phone number is here on the site. It's a private residence. It's his home. Okay, and he's flying Mark Sargent out to hang out with everybody that day. So if you are in the California area and you want to go hang out with some cool flatties, this is it right here. So check it out this coming weekend. That's what's up. And also Tucson hikes. Oh no, these are all done now. Oh no, there's another one because there was one on the 4th and there's one on April 1st. So there's another April 1st thing for the other side of the country. This is in Arizona. There's a hike. And all the details are here on the website. If you live in Arizona and you want to go on a hike with some flatties, there you go. And then also coming up in June, Josh Flathead Perkins is hosting Jammin' the Plane on his private property in Colorado Springs, June 16th through 18th. And there's a telegram, and he posted his email for contact. So RSVP to Josh if you want to go hang out for Jammin' the Plane in Colorado Springs this summer. Okay, and there's other monthly meetups there that you can check out. So there you go. That's what's up. How is everybody doing? Oh, Rose, I gotta give you your wrench back too. So hello to everybody in chat. Hello to Rockfin. I saw that Rose was in there first. Mark Wantraba, PSYOP within a PSYOP. Tony Coriolis. That's a funny name. And over here on YouTube's Special K, Jeremy Coakley. Spicy Sarah, who was with us yesterday. That was a good spot, Sarah, that you picked. Good finding on that. Three Fingers, Unindoctrinated, Alpine and Never, Mellow Dome. Conspiracy Music Guru says, stop showing coffee, I gave up and have withdrawal symptoms. I know, I have to probably cut back on coffee. I've been saying that for a while. And I did, I try to limit it to 2 cups, but I go beyond that. I don't know. I have to work on it. I'll admit. It's like my one vice. Coffee is probably my biggest vice. Been without coffee for over a year. Wasn't easy at first, says Michael Allen Ray. Yeah. I'm not looking forward to not having coffee. Chicago Artist, good to see you. Benny Boy, Tom Budus, Anson Howard. Hello, my peoples. DRTRH. Oh, yeah, okay. Thunder Chicken. I'm en route to doctor's appointment I'm nervous about. Oh, well, don't be nervous. I'm sure you're fine. Hi, Sarah. Yeah, great spot. It's a good time for all, says, had a great time at the meetup yesterday. Great spot, Sarah. Yeah, it was a great spot. Really a great spot. I'm a disembodied head today. Does it look like it? Oh, because it's all black. Look, I have a skeleton thumbs up. I came to Evil YouTube for you. Hi, Rose. Thank you. Jody Bear and I are trying to make it to Melbourne. Cool. You can now make people super moderators, and I think they can add moderators or they have some other superpowers. It says now they're managing moderators. And it gives you guys, I don't know what it gives you guys, but I don't know. I have to look at what the new moderator thing is. Eyes to see FE, Richard Thompson. Good to see you. Troubling Tribune. Joelle Lynn, Jason Ray, Thunder Chicken. I replaced coffee with chaga and honey for a few months. It's just more of the brewing process. Coffee is just so convenient. Yeah. She was in chat earlier, Rose. I don't know. Maybe she stopped typing in chat because it's too early for her and maybe she's feeding baby now. But she was here early. There she is. They can mute other mods. I don't think they can add them though. No, you can't add moderators. You can, so moderators can mute other moderators now? Really? Cheers, Voynich. Hey, Voy, I still am editing the second episode, but I'm working on it. It's so hard for me to sit down and edit stuff and then also maintain doing live streams. And then also do homeschooling and whatever other bullshit I got going on all the freaking time. So I'm sorry that I am so slow. I'm sorry, but you know. I need a clone. Ask us questions for the next episode. Yeah, that would be great. Anybody who's a member, test it on me and I will ban everyone. All right. Okay, well, anyway. Let me get my phones open. So we got some cool stuff to talk about today.
Welcome to the conference center. You are a host.
I am your host. So let me just get that going so that it's open for later. All right. Willie Nanny says coffee isn't a vice. Well, that's not what Amanda Vollmer says. You guys are funny. All right. So check this out. I don't know who this chick is, but she agrees with the Tartar thing being a psyop because it is a psyop. Like, it's obviously a freaking dude. It's obviously BS. Obviously. Okay. I wanted to talk about something that actually Dennis posted in the Rebellion. And if you're on Telegram and you haven't joined the Rebellion chat, this is a group chat that I started a while ago when Facebook was banning me, and I was like, screw this. So I made this group to, just to start being on Telegram more. I actually really enjoy Telegram and Twitter, both of which more than Facebook at this point, just because they're both better for finding information, and I just like the platforms better. It's not so trolly. Like, Facebook is just full of freaking shill-calling idiots, dude. I'm constantly having to block people off of Facebook who want to go, you're a shill because you do the flat sign, or you're a shill, whatever. The shill-calling bullshit is like ramped up lately, so there's like a big, it's up here right now. And it does that. It just, every year, having been here for years now, this is how it goes. The shill calling will ramp up for a little bit, and then it'll go back down, and then it'll ramp up, and then it'll go back down, and right now it's up, okay? So, anyway, I wanted to talk about this thing, because I wanted to look into it a little bit further, because I really actually hadn't had time, and I thought we could just look at it together anyway. So Dennis posts in the Rebellion chat, which, by the way, there's a link to the Telegram Rebellion chat in the description of the video. So if you want to join it and be in the group, you can. You can send stuff here, like at, links or whatever. Type questions too if you want. If you don't want to type in the chat. What's up? The hostess with the most. Oh, hey, Brian. secretsofsaturn@gmail.com. I get lots of shills comments after all you shills came on for Dave's birthday Thursday. Yeah. So anyway, so Dennis says, concerning the 1965 interview of a scientist claiming the moon to be made of plasma, and I'm sure you guys all saw this video. This is a video that we've all watched a bunch of times, right? This guy, but they call him Professor Foster or Robert Foster in these videos.
About the nature of the world at same sea. Many times in the past history of our Earth has rolled over the surfaces of the land masses, sweeping away all life and vegetation, and eventually turning again to its former bed.
This is the part of the biblical theory of the flood and the theory of people of other races.
Oh yes, this actual event, the last one, is recorded in all the sacred scriptures of all the old civilizations, from the Hindus to the Bible.
Mr. Foster, before we go on with that, you've made a number of predictions, scientific predictions, which you claim have come true. Now, what are those predictions, and how do you make this claim?
Well, they are all based on the new notion that the physical invariance principles of contemporary science are invalid. And I stated this first in a manuscript reviewed in Australia in 1954. And the validity of this statement was confirmed finally last year at Princeton, when the principle of time reversal invariance was found to be invalid.
Well, who accepts the fact that you have made these predictions accurately?
Well, the facts as such are undeniable and must be accepted because they're documented. And it was accepted at such at Oxford, at Tasmanian University, and also at the National University. The facts as such are accepted, but the explanations and the new views as yet are not.
Do you mean to say that you reject all the basic principles of science established since Aristotle's day?
No, it does not mean that. I state and maintain that those concepts and interpretations of science, which are still based today on Aristotelian logic, have a certain purpose, but that is defined by a statement as that a spade is a spade or a fine chisel is a fine chisel. But these concepts are inadequate for a complete understanding of the real nature of the world.
How is it possible, Mr. Foster, that you as an individual can work out these theories when all the other established scientists have computers and all the money of governments behind them, and yet they apparently can't?
Well, I do not claim at all that it is due to my own intellect or to my own penetration. I have been deeply interested from early youth in the real nature of the world, and I held my own views and ideas. But many years ago, about 14 years ago, when I was challenging one of the fundamental conventional principles of science, I had a definite inspiration, not knowledge as such, but an indication and a guidance which I followed, on which I worked very hard, and to evolve into a new structure of understanding.
Inspirations are related to thoughts of genius. Do you think or consider yourself to be a genius?
No. I consider myself to be an ordinary, humble person who wants to serve mankind with what man has striven for.
Now, here's what I'm wondering about. So they're calling this man's name Robert Foster in this interview, but nobody could ever find anybody by that name.
You see, here is the sea, Mr. Sanders, so calm and apparently unchanged.
And the interview starts, like that, but does the interviewer ever refer to him by name?
Genius. Do you think or consider yourself to be a genius?
No. I consider myself to be an ordinary, humble person who wants to serve mankind with what man has striven for from the beginning of consciousness, with truth and understanding of the world.
Well, now, one thing, you have a theory about the moon, and we expect to be able to get observable facts about the moon fairly soon. What is your theory?
Well, it is by now rather more than a theory. 10 or 11 years ago, I stated to various scientists that the moon is not a piece of rock, but it is a plasma phenomenon, a cosmic plasma, and that this fact will eventually be confirmed. I made certain predictions which were already confirmed in 1958, and the situation now is coming close to a complete confirmation.
What will be the result if you're proved to be correct in your theories?
The result will be profound and decisive, because it will give proof that a complete reinvestigation of the laws of nature is necessary. Because if the moon is a plasma, no man will ever land on it. The soft landing attempts will all fail. That means that the mass of the moon is less, far less, than is currently assumed. It's in a different state of energy, and it has far less mass. That means there is no more explanation for the tides. If the moon, for example, had only a thousandth part of its current mass, then the tides would only be 2 inches high under conventional theories instead of sometimes 14 feet. And that means that if it is proved that the moon is a plasma, then all gravitational theories are out, and a new concept of the cosmos and of its laws has to be evolved.
Aren't you being a bit adventurous, though, because you know that we're going to be able to test out your theories on the moon fairly soon?
Well, not anymore. 11 years ago, of course, it was rather taking a risk. I was considered a lunatic, of course, but by now the evidence, accumulated evidence, is already so much in my favor that I'm not taking any risks anymore. On the contrary, there is scientific views expressed all over the world now that the moon seems to be of a quite different nature of what was assumed.
But the Americans and Russians are thinking of landing men on it.
Well, that will never happen. Not on the moon. On Mars, on Venus, on other planets, yes, but the moon is definitely, as I assert, a plasma.
Isn't there a slight contradiction? You mentioned the moon and the tides, Mr. Foster, and at the earlier part of the interview you talked about the tides sweeping over the Earth.
Well, there is no contradiction there, because once the moon is proven not to be a piece of rock, but something of far less mass, and the gravitational theories are out and discarded, new concepts have to be involved which will show that the lawfulness of nature in the cosmos is identical to that in a hydrogen atom or in atomic processes. And when this is understood and worked out in full, it will be found that the physical processes of the Earth are quite different in geophysics of what is at present assumed, and that lawfully in certain periods, mostly during the ice ages, which occur every 200 million years, and there is a reason for that, the axis of the Earth suddenly tilts over. And when this happens, then you get the floods of the Bible, which were recorded before.
Okay, so clearly that part I'm not, that's, like, you could tell, like, I would have to say that we've come far enough to say that that's not true, right? Okay, so the Earth is not going to flip, like, physically flip in space and then cause, you know, these biblical floods and stuff. So if they're wrong about that, they could be wrong also about the moon being plasma. But anyway, so, what did I want to look at this for? Okay, so Dittis found this other man. I just thought it would be worth looking at. In 1965, a video apparently comes from the files of ABC News Australia, which said his name was listed as R. Foster, but no one has corroborated that. That's what I'm saying. Like, nobody has ever found a physicist or anything like that by the name of Robert Foster. We've never been able to verify the identity of the man in that video. So he says, disciples of Hans Alfvén are still around. Very possibly one of them would have more information about the gentleman in the interview. It's worth mentioning that this school of plasma science associated with Alfvén is opposed to gravity as an alternative theory of celestial dynamics, the electric universe theory that appears to have originated with Hans Alfvén and his colleagues. Yeah. Makes you wonder if this guy is associated. I don't think this is him, Like it doesn't, I mean, I don't think it looks like him or anything. I don't think this guy is, right? Let's see. So that's that guy. And where did my YouTube window go? There it goes, it went down here. So here. Now, that's not the same guy. But it is interesting, this group, and then they won the Nobel Peace Prize. Was it the Nobel Peace Prize? After winning Nobel Prize for magnetohydrodynamics. So let's see, Nobel Prize in Physics. I wonder if you can see like the report on that, or like who all was involved in 91. Alvin retired as professor of electrical engineering at the University of California, San Diego, and professor of plasma physics at the Royal Institute of Technology in Stockholm. Physics, astrophysics, cosmical electrodynamics. That sounds interesting. Anyway, electric universe people. Really seems like this sort of information has really been gate kept over the years, right? Like they don't really want to talk about electric universe. Is this it? Is this the same page? They don't give you any more information about it? Nobel Prize in Physics since 1970. Radon and Bernicki. Oh, these are children. It would be nice to be able to find out the other scientists that he studied with. What do you guys think about that? Magnetohydro? Yeah. Magnetohydrodynamics. Magnetofluid dynamics or hydromagnetics is a study of magnetic properties and behavior of electrically conducting fluids. Examples of such magnetofluids include plasmas, metals, salt water, and electrolytes. So plasma, essentially, plasma physics. Plasma, from ancient Greek, moldable substance, is one of four fundamental states of matter, characterized by the presence of a significant portion of charged particles in any combination of ions or electrons. It is the most abundant form of ordinary matter in the universe, being mostly associated with stars, including the sun. Okay, well, this is Sheeplepedia, so don't take this to heart. But I do think it's interesting that they're associating plasma with the sun, because remember how they tried to say that the sun was a gas giant? But you guys realize, though, that like even mainstream science still can't really, they argue over whether the surface of the sun is even like a solid surface or whatever. They don't even agree on that. And there's actually a really good channel called Sky Scholar on YouTube, and that guy is great. He's great at he talks about how black holes are impossible. He talks about how the surface of the sun is a liquid, right? Which makes much more sense, if you're talking about the plasma thing. What year did he win the prize? That was 70? Here we go. Cosmological Electrodynamics, published 1964 by Hans Alfven, Carl Gunn. Oh, here's another. Let's see if we can find this person. So that's this guy. PlasmaUniverse.com. Royal Institute of Technology. Okay. Yeah, see, I'm like sort of like interested in perusing these documents for other names to search to see if we can find the identity of the man in that video. It's been bugging me. Co-authored. Let's search this name. Okay, nope, not that one. Where's Mark? Mark is probably asleep. Yeah. This is actually the Karen B channel. So most of the time when you come here, you'll just see me. Sorry to disappoint you if you're looking for Mark. So, anyway. So, no. Let me see if I can find anything else to try to... he described a class of MHD waves known as Alphen waves. He was originally trained as an electrical power engineer and later moved to research and teaching in the fields of plasma physics, electrical engineering. Alphen made very many contributions to plasma physics, including theories describing the behavior of aurora, the Van Allen radiation belts, the effect of magnetic storms in the Earth's magnetic field, the terrestrial magnetosphere, and the dynamics of plasmas in the Milky Way galaxy. Yeah, 1970, he won the prize in physics. Very possible. Well, I thought maybe we could try to find something interesting around that. But boy, is it hard to find these people. Plasma and the universe. This is Alphen. All right. Well, anyway. So much for that. Mangoes on pizza is awesome. Oh, hey, Billingtano. Disinfo agents everywhere? Such as where? You don't mean like here, right? Yeah, the mango pizza that you guys got, the chicken mango, yeah. That was good. Oh, here's Dennis. Hey, Dennis, what's going on?
Hey, this is Dennis. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Hello?
Yes.
Pretty good. Mark may not be up yet, but I am.
Yeah.
I think he and I are in the same time zone. I just, I glanced at the your Telegram group, and I saw that I realized Coffee Talk was on, and I saw you thought it was interesting that stuff about the plasma guy and that group of scientists. I happened across that 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I haven't really investigated that much, but I do know that he. It seems like I came across that he specialized, or he had a special interest in the aurora borealis, and that may be connected with his interest in an electric universe. And I think the Milky Way, the aurora borealis, and something else similar, an oddity in the exact guy in that video from 1965. But the guy in the video from 1965, who seems to be from Australia, and Hannes Alphen is definitely Swedish. He spent half his time at the university, but at any rate, they seem like they very likely are the same school of thought, and they got people. I've said they got them on YouTube and other. I forgot the names, like Donald Scott maybe, or others that were students of Hannes Alphen who were still alive. And if somebody cornered them or put the question to him, "Do you know who this guy in the video is?" "Oh yeah." I'm just saying that's a pretty big possibility that one of his students might have an idea who that is or what the deal is with the guy in the video, because their points of view sound fairly similar.
Yeah. You know, I don't think either one of these guys sound Australian to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, they sound not Australian to me.
The tides,
Hannes Alphen is definitely not. He's Swedish.
Yeah, but the interviewer doesn't...
The guy in the video...
Yeah, the interviewer?
Yeah, the guy in the video, I don't know. Go ahead.
I just...
Oh, yeah, you're talking about the two guys in the video?
Yeah. And this is supposed to be from an ABC News Australia, but...
Yes.
Neither one of them sound Australian to me.
Yeah, just going by what it says. Yeah. Maybe, this is a total speculation. Maybe because the name R. Foster, maybe because nobody, even ABC News, doesn't have any other verification that it was like the label in the archives that it had for him. And this is total speculation. Maybe somebody that disagreed with him put the wrong name on it on purpose. I don't know, but maybe that's why. But at any rate, I think it's interesting that not maybe a tangentially related. I didn't want to go into depth because I know you guys disagreed with this, but the how do you say, the view of the stars is as a hologram. Well, you guys do agree with that. I don't, but I've seen some people. Do some people view that as connected with the electric universe? Because I know it's not a mainstream science thing, but some people believe that. But I don't know that this guy. I kind of doubt he believed that the stars are a hologram. But I did come across an article that the guy who I think you think too is an idiot, that Stephen Hawking, the famous atheist, forgive me for saying, but he's in a wheelchair. He looks retarded, and I say he is retarded. He actually was retarded, and his scientific beliefs were the confirmation of that. But I read several articles. It's easily fine with one Google. It said he's the originator of the view of the universe of the stars as a hologram. And I don't know if maybe he got the inspiration from that I'm speculating, but maybe he got some kind of inspiration from the Electric Universe, from the Hanez Alphen group. At any rate, the Electric Universe sounds more plausible, in my opinion. It sounds, I don't believe in the hologram stuff. That's my opinion. I take the traditional view, but the Electric Universe is at least more plausible. But I do know a major motivation that the Hanez Alphen and all, they don't believe in gravity at all. So they're similar to Flat Earth in that aspect. And I don't know, you may have mentioned this already. I just tuned in 5 minutes ago. But they viewed the electricity as the major phenomenon in relation between celestial objects in the heavens and their dynamics. They believe, and as Alphen and all believe, that they look to electricity to explain all of that, their interrelation and the orbits and all, not gravity. So anyway, but that's all I got.
All right. Yeah. It is interesting.
Go. This is sense of humor, but the jumper you got that says that's retarded, and do you sell that, or does Stephen Carpenter sell that? Because at some point I'm going to get one for my wife, because I think it's very appropriate, especially if it refers to Stephen Hawking. But I didn't peruse the store. Is that where can I get one of those?
Yeah,
David Weiss?
No, Stefan was selling those on his website. Yeah, those were from Stefan.
Okay,
yeah.
So Stephen Carpenter, that'd be where I go for that. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Roger that. I'll just follow it, because I know they advertise it on Strange World at the beginning of it every week.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. Yep. That's all I got. Glad you found it interesting. I don't know if other people do, but it sounds like it's potentially rich with helpful stuff. That group of scientists.
Yeah, I think it's worth maybe offline. I'll spend some time looking at some of their papers and stuff. But yeah, I just thought I would.
It's a reservoir of possible use in the future that's good to know about.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Yep. That's all I got. Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Dennis. Claptrapism gifted 10 Karen B memberships. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Hey, look at all those people in green now. Whoa, did you do it twice? Oh my goodness. Shout out to Claptrapism. Boy, look at all you. Look at all you people with memberships. That's awesome. Thank you. Dr. Law. Yeah, so if you guys are members, you can go now. You can use my nifty my nifty icons, and you can also check out Anarcho Verotistas on YouTube, which is my the show that Rose and I have been doing for supporters. And I was talking about earlier, I'm still editing the second episode of that. So I'll try to get that done ASAP, and you guys can all check it out with your new membership. Fantastic. Thank you. Now you're doing it again. Grab it up. Grab it up. Grab it up. Holla. That's awesome. Shout out to Claptrapism. Thank you for gifting all those memberships to you wonderful people. Appreciate the support. And I think you have to change your settings inside of YouTube to be able to accept gifted memberships, if you guys are wondering why you're not getting those. Yes, Rune Dragon, because I deleted all the wrenches. Here, I'll give it, because I had wrenches of people who weren't showing up in chat, and so I just deleted them all, and I figured, you know, those who show up will get their wrench back. Oh, is that kind of doctor appointment, Rico? I think, yeah. All right. So, okay, end of that. Wait, yeah, let's close that. Close that. I also thought it might be cool to try to look at the realm in to scale today, because there's been a lot of talk about the shape of it, right? Like how is there really a dome? Is the ceiling flat? Is the ceiling a dome? How high is it? How far is it? And I think if I do a very simple, close to scale sort of representation of the Earth, it might be easier for some people to sort of visualize in their mind, you know, how we're able to, you know, be on a level plane and then have the luminaries circling over and you know, it being day and night and all that sort of thing. Doug Marr, member for 7 months. Hey, cheers, Doug. YouTube puts up a reminder to turn on GIFs. Oh, Sue Finelli. There's Sue Finelli. A week? Wow, okay, the number I gave you should be back on today, but you can also use the same number. I don't know what you're talking about. I guess that wasn't to me. I just prefer small hands. Yeah. Okay, so, and I also found this. So I wanted to show you guys this. Will it open? There it goes. This is the drawing I did of when I was first sort of like conceptualizing how the realm worked. This is a drawing I did from 2017. So what we have here is, of course, you can see where I drew the continents. And then I drew the toroid over the Earth. And this is a very rough sketch, okay? I was just kind of trying to draw it out for myself to put what I was seeing in my head on paper to see how it worked out. And so the purple is the northern star rotation, right? And it's going clockwise because I'm looking at it from the top down. So looking at it from the bottom up, we see the northern star rotation going counterclockwise. So from the top, it would be going clockwise. And then these other things over here are the southern star rotations. So here's a southern star rotation, here's a southern star rotation, and here's a southern star rotation. And I'll explain the logic behind what I did here, and then I'll tell you why now we think it's wrong. I think it's wrong. But it just sort of goes to show like that years earlier, this is probably what, 5-6 years old now that I drew this picture. And so now fast forward 6 years, you know, where we're still thinking about this stuff and we've still been analyzing this stuff. It's like you see that our, you know, the ideas and how we understand this place changes a little bit, but really the basics are still there. The basics really don't change very much. So the thought process I had behind this was when we were doing the sun tracking back, way back when, if you guys remember Antonio, and we used to do those sun tracking, events where we would get all these different people from the plane and we would have them, you know, with their little protractor and we're marking where the sun and and finding out where high noon is and all that stuff. And when we were doing that, we had somebody who was in South Africa, and then we had somebody from Australia, okay, almost complete opposite sides of the plane. So, and when they were having a discussion about what they see in the sky at night as far as the stars, the person in South Africa said to the person in Australia, "What, we have the exact same stars you do. We have a carbon copy," right? His words were, "It's a carbon copy of what you see." And I thought, oh shit, a copy. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe there's, you know, multiple rotations of the same star patterns emanating from the center, right? So what I had in my head was that there's the center, right, with the North Star being the Polaris being in the center. And then, you know, you had all of the stars up to the equatorial stars spinning around the center. And then, you know, then I had pictured it kind of spiraling out and going the other way on either side all the time. So that when you're here, you're seeing the stars rotate and you're so small and it's so localized that it looks like it's, you know, how it is with perspective, making an arc across the sky, going below, coming from above the horizon to below the horizon. But it's so, you know, so localized that you would never know that it's not the same stars. And then, you know, it would still help lend to navigation, right? Because it would just be the same. The patterns would be the same, right? It would still work. And then what I had here is I had this circle. I divided the circle up into the golden ratio, which when you divide the circle into the golden ratio, you get, it's 137.5 degrees, right? So this big split right here is 137.5 degrees. And then this one is 137.5 degrees and then 85 degrees. And that is the golden ratio of how you split up a circle, right? So what I did is I just put that on top of the plane Earth, and then I put the rotations at the end of each at the end point of where you separate the circle in the golden ratio. So I had it I was picturing it where the actual celestial plate where the stars manifest or whatever is actually not moving itself, like the whole, you know, so the dome's not moving, but there's rotations happening on that plate, on that celestial plate. Hi, Kelly Effie. Now you guys are using all the little emojis I made. I had an idea to replace the North Pole emoji, and I forgot what it was now. Somebody did an awesome model with a glass bowl and a flashlight on the outside and somehow lit up half the bowl. It was really cool. I know what you're talking about. That is... Hold on. I have that. Or at least I'll show it to you and I'll see if... Actually, I know where am I looking for? Well, maybe I can't find it right away. But anyway, that's when they're shining the light through that dome. I can't find it. Anyway, screw it. But anyway, so I had it at the end of each of these. But now, we do think that's wrong because of looking at the magnetics. And I also did find that magnetic map that I was looking for last time and I couldn't find. I found it when we were looking at minerals. I totally found it. So we'll look at that too. So here, this map. So this one, and bear with me. Should have had these files open already. Where's the magnetic map that I was looking at earlier? Okay, this might work. Oh, magnetics AE, here we go. Okay. So here, is a map of tides, I believe. Let me double check that to make sure before I go on. Range of tidal fluctuation. Yes. Map of global tidal ranges. Yes, that's what it is. Okay, so here I'll show you is a this is what you'll see. Like if you search online, it'll say map of, you can look up tidal maps, okay, or world tidal map. That's what I looked up. So it shows you tidal fluctuations. This one just wants me to download it, which is fine. So I'll show it to you. Okay, so here's how they present it to you, right, in the regular Mercator projection. And this is the tidal range, tidal fluctuation, okay, from 0 to 12 meters. Okay, so you'll see that there's a huge fluctuation. Look at right here. Isn't this weird? Right here, that this says 0 between Japan and China? Is there really no tide right there? That's so weird. Mediterranean. Well, that wouldn't be 0. It would be between 0 and 0.4 meters, I guess. There. So, anyway, so here's tidal fluctuation. And then if you overlay the magnetic declination map on top of it, you can see that the magnetics are clearly what is influencing the tidal fluctuation. So here, let me see if I can. Yeah, so we'll get rid of the white. Oh, well, let me see. I have to try this a different way. Blending mode. Console. So if you see here in this magnetic declination map, which I have turned to the AE mode, and I've kind of very roughly overlaid it on the map here, right? So you can kind of see through it. See if I can make it fit just a touch better. Yeah, it's hard to see because they don't do it in exactly the same projection. So any way you do it, you're just kind of have to guesstimate. But it is good enough that you can kind of tell. Okay, so you can see where they've got these magnetic anomalies is the same places, you know, where the patterns are is where the color changes. So right here, you know, we know that there's heavy tides here on the Pacific West Coast right here. And look at it, all the red lines there. Okay. And then Australia, all these magnetic anomalies seem to line up. The coloration lines up with, you know, the magnetics here. So you can see where there's a really tight magnetic field right here. All these lines come together, how they're closer. See how the deviation's much more spread apart. It's like a little bit weaker out here in some parts, but where it's stronger and the lines are closer together, there you can see that's where you've got the most tidal fluctuation. At like right here in this lower corner right here, the numbers are almost right on top of each other. And then also these places are where, you know, we're seeing the heavy mineral deposits, like all the mines. Remember when we were looking at the mine map last week that goes with this? So let's see. Do I have that still here? Magnetic mine anomaly. Here we go. So here's our mine. Actually, let me see if I can. Polarize this one. I mean, it's not really ideal for polarizing, but it might. Let's just see how it looks. Usually you can only polarize Mercator maps and whatchamacallit, get that nice AE look. Okay, so this I would have to, let's see, let's do it this way. I'll see if I can make it work with this. I don't know if I can. I could not find a mind map that was in a straight up Mercator projection the same as everything else. So I'm gonna do like this, and I have to do like this. Yeah, see, this is not gonna be ideal, like at all. I don't even think it will work. This is why I think they do this crap on purpose. Right? Okay, so then we take that. Distort. Polar. Oofda. Gotta do it this way. Okay. See, that's not ideal. Oops. But let's see if I can bring it over here. Ooh, it's really small. Orient it the same way. Oh my gosh, is this even going to be legible? Probably not. I might have to do it the other way around. Okay, let me see if I can. Isn't it funny? I have to like totally tweak it. All right, we'll see if we can make it somewhat line up to where we could at least see it. Okay, so you can see, man, so difficult to line this stuff up. So here's Australia. Here's our magnetic declination map. Here's our... Oh, Australia has turned into a complete disaster on this projection. But you can see the lines come right through here, through like Indonesia to the top of Australia. And that's where a lot of the majority of these mines are. So we'll go over here, South America, all on the coast here. Boom, boom, boom. Down here, lots of mines here. So it seems like a lot of gold too in these areas. Down here in South Africa, especially between, like, this is what I was thinking about before, because here's Madagascar. Madagascar's is it's got one of the most amazing, that's got some of the most amazing minerals coming out of it. And look at the magnetic anomaly right here. And they just have the most beautiful pieces coming out of there. And if you look at this, and even also India and Asia right here, like Sri Lanka area, all these areas produce lots of beautiful minerals as well. I wish this would like continue over the land. Why do they delete, I feel like they delete the land part out on purpose. Because that might give us a big hint as to where a lot of the, where to find the rich stuff, right? They don't want you finding the rich stuff. Oh, my bad. I thought you were somebody else. and really interesting, unique animal and plant life places in Madagascar. Rich stuff is on the moon. The coffee cup caustic. Yeah. Okay, so anyway, I did want to go over this again. This is the magnetic map that I was trying to find before, but look at how detailed it is. This isn't like the other magnetic declination maps, and I can't remember what the specific term is that brought this one up. But if you search for magnetic declination maps, you're gonna see like, oh boy, so many different kinds. Because the magnetic field does change over time too. I think this was it. Yeah, this is it. So... this is the map that I was trying to find before when we were comparing to where the minerals are. So... in fact, what I should do is drop this over here, right? So this map kind of tells you where these magnetic anomalies are as well. You can see it right here. Anyway, it's just very interesting. When you start comparing different maps of different things and comparing it to the magnetic maps, to the magnetic declination maps, you'll see that everything is totally tied to the magnetics of the Earth. It's just undeniable. So, just something to think about. Oh, what did I do here? Why is that 2? Link. So that, and then the mineral, the tides, the minerals, drugs are bad, the glass bowl flashlight video. Yeah, because when you do circles, you know, like that, that's what it makes. It makes the path of the ISS. That's what it does. Right? This thing, right? I'm gonna mute it because the sound on this is horrible. But that's right? So if you look at their path of the ISS or whatever they call it, tell you is the orbit path or whatever, it totally makes a toroidal field over the top of the Earth. And this is why I can't 100% rule out that the ISS isn't something that they've inserted into like a certain nodal point, like an energetic nodal point up above the plane, because they have been hiding this stuff from us, right? And if they're able to, you know, use their equipment and launch stuff in the sky and blah 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 blah, and we're seeing like clearly where there's old scientists talking about studying, you know, the plasma and in, you know, within our atmosphere and plasma being part of it, you know, so they've been studying this stuff. How much of it has actually been released to the public? Well, obviously not very much, but you know, this is the thing that keeps keeps that one possibility that there could be stuff that there's up in that they are inserting and sort of writing these electrical currents, these different pressure points. It could be a different pressure point. It's like what we were when I was showing you guys. I don't know if you guys remember, but me showing that video of the guy who's talking about the sonic levitation, right? So you have the plate on the bottom that emits the sound, which would be the earth, and then there was a plate on top, which could be like the celestial plate, you know, over the earth. And the sound, the very low frequency, bounces back and forth between the two plates. And what it ends up doing is creating this pressure point in the middle, these different pressure points where things can hover, you know, where they defy gravity, right? I don't know if it's quantum locked though. See, a lot of people were say quantum locked because that's the first time that we, I mean, I guess, what's the definition totally of quantum locking? Let's look that up. The concept of quantum levitation or quantum locking, does that just involve magnetics or is it anything? Okay, the science of quantum, let's see. So, quantum physics 101. The concept of quantum levitation or quantum locking. Quantum levitation is a process in which scientists use the properties of quantum physics to levitate or lift up an object, specifically a superconductor, over a magnetic source without any support. Here's an image to give you a clearer picture. Quantum levitation. Quantum levitation is only possible with superconductors because of its numerous magic-like properties. Superconductivity is the phenomenon when the conductor offers exactly zero electrical resistance when it is cooled below a critical temperature. It is the state of perfect conductivity in which there are no losses of energy in the form of heat or light. This phenomenon is often referred to as the Meissner effect. Okay, so hidden knowledge of vibration. I'm looking for that video that I had watched before on it. It's something like this, but I don't want to play. Let's see, sound levitation. Levitation. Here we go. Acoustic levitation. See, Action Lab has some video on acoustic levitation. I know this guy he does copyright strike, so I'm not going to play his. But it's what I was describing, where you have two plates and one plate emits a sound, and then the sound, let me see if I can find it. Like a article about it instead of a video. Or acoustic levitation. So acoustic levitation is a method for suspending matter and air against gravity using acoustic radiation pressure from high intensity sound waves. So here you can see this guy inserting the little foam balls in there. And this particular process of levitation doesn't involve the super cooling, like the superconductor thing. It's a different way to do it. So now, oh, look at that. He's doing it with water. Is that water? Or is there, I wonder if it's just water, if there's something mixed in it. But look at that. He's doing it with water. So could this be how they're filming some of their, you know, ISS video when they're playing with water? Could it be through sonic levitation, acoustic levitation? You know, I mean, I don't know. So, but it's interesting to think about. I've been in front of speakers so loud that it felt like if I leaned back, the sound would have held me up. Yeah, harmonic levitation. Exactly. You have a hangover from one beer, Cammie? I mean, it could be, it is cold up there, but I also don't think that that's like the only thing going on over there. You know what I'm saying? And is it cold up there? And is it cold? Is there temperature changes? Why do I remember hearing about there being different temperature changes up there? Like there's places where it's warmer and then it's colder and then it's warmer and then it's colder. And actually this makes sense. Because if you think about it, that's pressure mediation, right? Warmth and cold, heat, expansion, and contraction will increase and decrease pressure in these different zones. So if you have those two high pressure zones, like warm temperature, cold temperature, that's the pressure point, right? That's the pressure plane or whatever. Does that make sense? Correct me. Correct me if you think I'm wrong. So, anyway, this is what I'm thinking could be what's going on with stuff, right? It could be this. It could be a combination, you know? I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen anybody where they're messing around with quantum locking and acoustic levitation. So that's something that would be interesting to see. The movement, this is a picture, it says it's a movement of particles due to the acoustic radiation forces were the first demonstration of the possibility of acoustic levitation. Oh, this is rotated 90 degrees. First demonstration of the possibility of acoustic levitation was made in Kuntz's tube experiments in 1866. The experiment in a resonant chamber demonstrated that the particles could be gathered at the nodes of a standing wave by the acoustic radiation forces. First levitation was demonstrated by Bucks and Mueller in 1933. Who levitated alcohol droplets between quartz crystal and a reflector. Between quartz crystal, oh dude, this is trippy right here. Between quartz crystal and a reflector. And you know, quartz is like the most plentiful mineral on Earth, right? So the Earth would be the quartz crystal plate, and then the celestial plate would be the reflector. And there you go. you know, and then you just have to have these things inserted into these different pressure points. Like this. Wow. Isn't that interesting? And you're as above, so below. Alcohol is anti-levitation for me. Right. So, okay. So anyway, just something to think about, you guys. If you guys come across anything that's pertinent to this, and I don't have any like grand, revelation as a result of this stuff. This is just thoughts and process. This is like a thinking and process. I always like to go back and visit this stuff. I like to look at these different types of maps, and I'm starting to like realize that I've looked at so many maps that now when I look at different maps, there's certain points where you go, okay, well, is this spot showing anything? Is that spot showing anything? Because there's like a theme, there's a pattern, right? You just have to recognize the patterns. When you look at all these maps, the patterns tell you that the magnetics are tied to everything here. So if you ever come across something like that, send it my way. Email it to me, KarenBFE@protonmail.com. Post it into the chat, into the rebellion chat. Like Dennis did about that other guy. I mean, it's all relevant information. So, were the pyramids built before the flood? Yeah. All right. So that's that. But let me open the other. Not going to save that. Let's go back to. Trying to think what would be the best program to try to do this out in. Probably Illustrator. So I'm gonna quit Photoshop. I'm gonna open up Illustrator. And let's try to take a look at this place in scale for just for like maybe it'll help people better visualize what's going on, in the realm. Ether perturbation modality, no particles. What you mean? Could you imagine if they taught us this in school? That's what I'm saying. They never talk about this stuff in school. If they had, yeah, I know, but my AutoCAD that I had, it expired and I have to go download it again and re-get it. I actually do plan on getting AutoCAD again, and then I'll do it in AutoCAD. But I don't have AutoCAD, so I'm going to do it in Illustrator. Illustrator is actually a really good program for doing stuff too. So, new file. Let's see what points. Let's do it in points. New file, points. I'm going to make a huge base file. See if it'll work. Oh, hold on. I may, let's see. Oh, why is all this stuff open? Okay, that's better. Okay, so we'll just try to, so here I have made this file, or this base page here, 12,500 pixels. And I did 12,500 because let's see, we're going to average out the width of the plane at 25,000 miles, right? So half of that would be 12,500. And this is how small you have to make your scale if you want to include the whole Earth and try to figure it out. Like I learned this a long time ago. You got to really make things small, and it's not easy, okay? So 25,000 miles across, right? And I'm doing one point is going to be 2 miles. So just remember that. 1 point is going to equal 2 miles on this scale. I'm going to write some stuff down so I don't forget as we're going along here. So we've got our stage, which is 12,500 points. 1 point is going to be equal to 2 imperial miles. Okay? So let's say we have our plate. Right, our Earth here, this line. We'll make the Earth green. How about that? So here's our Earth surface. Let me see if I can make this window smaller so I can see the bottom of it better. Hold on. All right, here's our Earth surface, almost 50%. So let's see, where are we going to? Show info. All right. So we'll see. Well, there we go. We'll put it like halfway down. Okay. So that is the Earth end to end, right? Outside to outside. Okay. And then we'll just duplicate that. And this will act as our celestial plate, and we'll label that blue. And maybe to make it easier, let's see. We'll put a white background. Probably make it easier to see. So here, white, and we'll lock that, and we'll just keep working in layer 1. Okay, so how far apart do I have this plate right now? Okay, so what's the distance between this and this so far? So let's see if we can't get it to a thing that we can agree on. Okay, so the height of this box is 116 points. So 116 points is 1 point equaling 2 miles, so that's 232. That's 232 miles. Right? So if I double the points, that's how many miles it should be. So how high above the Earth plane do you think the celestial plate is? Let's put this, oops. Oh, no, wait, I'm sorry. 718. So let's say, there, this is 250. Okay, so if I put it right here, okay, the height of this box is meh. The height of this box is 250 points. So if I go by this box, that's 500 miles. Okay, so this is if the celestial plate is 500 miles above the Earth's surface. I don't know that that's how far it is, but that's what it looks like. Okay, so, and it almost makes me think about like, like when you have water in a glass, you know, when you look at the meniscus in the glass, it's like that. It's, you know, everything spreads out, you know, on the X and Y axis, much further than the Z axis, right? The up and down. I feel like maybe even going up and down the Z axis is almost like, that's like the spiritual travel, and then the X and Y axis is the physical travel, if that makes any sense. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what it looks like. You gotta divide. No, 1 point is 2 miles. So 1 point equals 2 miles. So if this is 250 points, that's double in miles, right? So that's 500. Don't mess me up. Don't be trying to mess me up. To 332 to 32. What are you guys doing? If you don't like FreeCAD or LibreCAD, then our other options are Fusion 360. Okay, I'll look at it. Oh, 1111. I missed 1111. And she's not watching the chat. No, she's not, because I'm trying to build something on the screen. Then the water changes density due to temp changes causing tides. FreeCAD or LibreCAD. I'll have to look at those. So if the plasma moon and sun are charged by electromagnetic fields on the Earth causing spikes in their power, they're making higher differences in temp between sun heat and moon cool. You guys are gonna mess me up. Okay, so anyway, check this out. Okay, so now let's mark our center point. Okay, so this is our North Pole. We will have our little center point here. Okay. Here's our little star, our North Star. Okay. Over our center point here, our North Pole. And I'm also going to put a little, I'll put a little thing right here. Just so that the center is easily identifiable as we go along here. Okay, that just marks the center. So let's just go with 500 miles between us and the celestial plate for now. It might not even be that high, but let's just use that for now. Okay, and then here's our center. Okay, and then now let's make our little sun. Our sun. Okay, if one point is 2 miles and the average observational measurement by flat earthers of the sun, according to calculation. So I don't know if this is accurate. This is just for shits and giggles, okay? I'm not saying this is how it is. Disclaimer. Okay, so a lot of people say 32 miles in diameter. So that would be divided by 2 to become 16 points by 16 points. Okay, and so here is our sun. Ooh, it's tiny. So here's our sun. Let me make it yellow. Or whatever. Right? Ooh, that makes it hard to see. I'll put a black outline around it. It's so tiny now. Okay, so here's our sun. Oh, and then you know what else? Let's see. So from the center, let's see, object. I'm forgetting how to do step and repeat in whatchamacallit, Illustrator, doesn't matter. So we'll do option. And then we'll move this back minus I'd like to mark the equators. So the equator, okay, so if 25,000, 12,500, there's my calculator. I'm not good at mathing in my head. Calculator, okay, so 6250. That would be around where the equator will be, so let's see. 6250. Oh wait, divide that by 2. 3125. Okay, so there'll be one at 3125. 31 15, 31 25. Okay. And then that, I don't know what that is, but then let's do this. Three, 7, 5. So 9. 3, 7, 5. Oops, 9. Yeah, that's right. This is very rough estimate, you guys. Okay, so 9, 3, 7, 5. Okay, so here we have our North Pole, and then this would be the equator. Let me see if I can mark the if I could do the math to figure out the tropics now. It's 23.5 degrees times 1645. So it would be, let me see if this looks right. $14.80. Let's see. So $14.80. Next one will be a 4440. Huh. I don't know if I did that right. Let me see something. So how far is this? So this one is at 3125, and this one's at 4440. Let's see. Equals 1315. Yeah, that doesn't seem right either. 4440. Hold on. I think because we had Bud. All right. So let's see here. I feel like this is not right. How come I... Let's do that. That looks better. Okay, so here, like I said, we're just guesstimating. So here would be our tropics, right? Let's just go with it. Just for... let's see. Let me align this up to where I had it over here. Okay. For illustrative purposes. Okay, so here, maybe put these lines a different color. So these tropic lines, these are the tropics. Okay. the center here with the star, that's the North Pole. Because so like we're looking at this, at the Earth from a profile point of view, right? So here's the pole, the center. And then these lines here represent where the tropics would be. Okay, does that make sense for everybody so far? Are you guys just off in your own world? Okay, whatever, I'll just do it for myself then. So here we have our, so the green is the Earth plate, right? The blue is the celestial plate. We have our sun right here, which is, I have scaled it to be around 32 miles across compared to the Earth. Okay, so there it is. It's teeny, it's right here, and it's already in the wrong spot. So it should be over here in the tropics. So now, also attached to the sun, let's see if I can make like what would be like its throw of light. Okay, so this, so if you think about it, the sun's lighting up half the plane at a time, which half the width of the plane is a little over 12,000 miles, right? So the sun theoretically is casting a radius of light that is brightest in the middle and dissipates as it goes out up to a 6,000 mile radius, we'll say, right? Does that make sense? Does everybody agree with that? 6,000 mile radius of sunlight. Okay, so if 1 point equals 2 miles, so for 6,000 miles, I would divide, that would be 3,000, right? So the width, let's go to 3,000 point width. 3,000 point width, okay? And height, I guess the height doesn't really matter. But we'll just say, okay, so this is our sunlight and the throw of the sun. So, okay, where's our little ellipse? Put it below, put the big ellipse above here. So here we go. It's our little sun. Maybe I'm going to make the sun black so it's easier to see inside of its little path of sunlight, okay? So here and here. Let's center them. Align, center. Okay. And group those together. So now this is our sun. The little black dot is our sun. And the yellow is the sunlight that the sun is throwing out. Okay. So here, well, that's interesting. So the sun must be casting more than, it must be going more than a 6,000 mile radius. Or I wonder if, because look at, if the light is not reaching over here. And then let's talk about, okay, so here, let's just say the sun is at the Tropic of, what is that? That's the Tropic of Cancer. That's where we're at, right? Here's the North Pole. So, and then you have your atmosphere in between. So the sun, yeah, look at that. So it's way over here. And then if you're a little, person on a piece of land way over here, and I don't even know, let's see, might not even be how high it is. So the location of this dot right here is at above 6,043 points. This one is at 6223, 643. So 6223, 180 times 2, 360. So this is having the sun at like an elevation of 360 miles. It may not even be that tall or that high up, right? So this would be 360 miles. So how high should we put the sun? 64 miles? Pick me up. Hi, David. Hello?
You should put the sun at 22 miles.
22 miles? Why that?
Well, here's the thing. The way, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, speculating on the optics of the sky. You're doing it all wrong because you're using a sun inside of the dome to light up the whole world. And I don't think it works that way. I think the sun is above our celestial sky, our dome, and it's a reflection in there. If you go out in a parking lot on a sunny day and look at all the cars, each car will have a sun inside the car. You'll see it in the window. And the real sun is in the sky. So if you put a sun above that blue line, and then it will appear, you'll put a whole bunch of people along that green line and draw lines to the sun. Where that line goes through the yellow, that's where they see the sun. So you have suns at all different positions through there, which will explain how light spreads around the world. You understand what I'm saying?
Kinda. But see, I can't draw like a million apparent suns.
Well, no, you don't have to. But that's the thing. Like, when I see the sun high above my head, Jaron sees it on the horizon, rising, coming towards him. And I got a whole bunch of these little glass domes. I put them on the floor and I held a light above them, and they all had their own little sun in a different position in it. And so if I tried to measure, like if I was inside those little domes where the sun is, I would never get it right. It would never make sense in relation to the whole rest of the plane. It makes no sense. The way you're doing it, you're trying to physically put a sun in a physical sky on a physical earth. I don't think it works that way.
What? Well, okay. I'm doing it this isn't really so much to explain where the sun is. The reason that I'm doing this is because I'm trying to illustrate that the celestial plate could be flat and that there really is no dome. The actual effect of a dome only comes from our vision and how our vision works.
You know what? I would back that. That would be my stance as of now for a long time. It is flat and we see in a dome. But even if you have a flat plate above you, just think about this. You make a model, you put a whole bunch of little people on it, and then you put a glass ceiling on it, and then you have a light above it. Well, those people are going to see the light in the glass, not on the ceiling. And so wherever they're all looking up and seeing it, that's where their sun is. They're not looking at the real sun, except during an eclipse or special weather conditions where the sun's dimmed enough and all of a sudden people go, oh my God, look, there's two suns. Oh my God, there's another planet. No, I think that is the source sun, or as Crow calls it, I guess he calls it the source sun, yeah. The second sun, the real sun, or the source sun. So when Darren does this with the light simulator and lenses, so here, the person standing in the bottom of that dome, and I'm watching on TV, so I'm a little behind. They're going to see the sun in their dome from a straight line from their eyes to where the actual sun is.
Right. I mean, I wasn't.
It explains time zones.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I wasn't going to stop with the sun. Like, the whole point of this was I was going to go further with it, but yeah. Like, I know it's not just one physical sun, but if you look at it this way, if the sun, if whatever or wherever the focal point of the sun is, it's when you look at it this way, it's like much, much further away and it's much closer to the ground. And my whole point is, like, I don't think people understand that something doesn't really have to be that far away from you to leave your eyesight, because we are so close to the ground. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of what I was trying to illustrate with this. Because everything is so long and flat.
But the problem is, and the problem with, people with weak minds like, the asshole and other people that lynch on or grab on to these anti-trollers, the circle map doesn't make sense, the sun doesn't go here. It's because they're trying to use a physical sun in a physical world where everybody sees in the same position, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't make any sense. Go outside, clear your head. When I watch the sunrise on the water, and then throughout the day, I think it's less than 100 miles away. Okay, that's the sun that I see, and I think the sun over my head is far less than 100 miles away. I think it's like maybe 30 miles away. But when it rises, 60, 70, maybe 100 miles away, and then it moves across the sky nice and slow, as it would need to take, the full day to cross the sky. And you could simulate that on put a glass dome on a small map, or a small dome on a map, and run a light all halfway around the world, and you'll see it rise and set nice and slow in that small little dome, just like we experience reality, or whatever this place is.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're trying to describe a physical reality when I'm not sure we live in a physical reality.
Why?
I mean, it is physical. No, we are here, but it's so bizarre. I mean, the fact that the idea, and I fully believe this, that every point in everything is connected to every other point in everything across the realm, that's mind-blowing. And then when you say your thoughts affect things, it'll kind of make sense in a world like that. And then I say, is that reality? I mean, it's real, but is it reality? I don't even know how to say it. It's so bizarre.
Yeah.
I mean, Karen, your thoughts create your reality. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Now explain that physically.
To an extent.
Explain that in AutoCAD, please.
Right. But whenever
Right?
you say that, though, people think that I think people picture it as like an instant thing. I don't think it's instant. It's like
What thoughts?
Yeah, your thoughts manifest in your reality.
I think when you get really, really, really good at it, you become literally a wizard or whatever, or God, because you can manifest things instantly. Me, it takes a little while, but sometimes when I really focus on something and I'm totally in tune, it happens faster than I can imagine. Whether it's a couple hours, a couple days, a couple weeks, a couple months, that's still fast.
Yeah.
But it comes, the world, the world doesn't do everything instantly, but, you put your intention out there, and all the stuff Jaron's doing with his thoughts and the rice experiment, and now he's trying with other things, and that's all real. So you can't describe that, in a lab. Science can never describe that. I mean, can do an experiment. I mean, we can do experiments, but you can't demonstrate it like you're trying to demonstrate where we're seeing a non-physical sun. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong.
Well, I think you're missing the point of what I'm trying to do here. A little bit. It's not about the sun.
Maybe a little bit.
It's not just about the sun, though. It's just about anything. Anything. Anything in the sky. It doesn't have to be that far away to be out of your field of view. So that's my point. It's like, so these people who say, oh, how does the sun work and all that stuff?
Well, if you actually look at the higher you put the sun, the smaller it gets. But we all see the sun, basically the same size throughout most of the day. None of it makes sense with any of the friggin' distances. So it has to be really close, and what if we said the sun is only 5 miles wide? You'd have to bring it a lot closer. And then you go, well, it doesn't light up the world, but it still works depending on how high the dome is. So, maybe the real sun is 1,000 miles up and the dome is less than 100 miles up. Or the ceiling, when I say dome, I mean ceiling. I don't know. Definitely not a spinning ball flying through space with an infinitely far burning ball of gas 93 million miles away.
Well, yeah.
In the Goldilocks. So that so from there we try to speculate, we try to do experiments, and you've seen it 100 times. The eclipse video I showed with where I made the eclipse with the paper towel and the tissue, and it looks exactly like what we see. So that to me is a serious load of evidence that that's how we see the sun. I haven't seen anything disproving that or a better idea.
Okay.
I'm willing to look, though, if anyone has any suggestions.
Yeah. Yeah.
right.
So Bob is saying that he says the sun is over 3,000 miles up. I don't think it's that tall because look, this is 3,000 miles. Look how much higher it is. Like way higher.
But if the real sun was 3,000 miles up, we could put the sun in our sky anywhere we want by adjusting the height of the ceiling and adjusting the height of our personal atmospheric dome. If you go out on a light foggy day, it looks like the sun is literally 1,000 feet over your head, not even miles. It's right there. So you're kind of creating a false dome of vision with the limited visibility. But I think our clear skies, we have a limited visibility. On a hazy day, the sun is much bigger than on a blue sky day. And that's because we're seeing it closer, because we're seeing it in the haze rather than above where no haze would be.
Well, yeah, because then you
It's
can
funny
see
looking at your reaction delayed on the TV while I'm talking to you, and it makes no sense.
What?
I'm talking to you and I'm looking at your disembodied head on my TV, and your reactions are not following what I'm saying because it's got like a 15-second delay.
Oh, okay.
And it's kind of freaking me out.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh. But, well, the whole thing of it is I was just trying to illustrate like how far it really is when things go to the other side of the plane. You know what I mean? And then with the atmosphere in between, like that's how things get away and out of your sight and you can't see it anymore.
Absolutely. And everything merges into the atmosphere. People don't realize that 5,000 or 10,000 foot atmospheric channel above you, 20, 30 miles away, is compressed into an opaque horizontal line, your horizontal eye zone. So if you do the actual sun way above, and then you draw lines, to all the people across that blue line, when it gets down to a certain angle, you'll just say, okay, that right there will be their horizon, and that's where they're not going to see the sun. It makes perfect sense. And it doesn't even have to get that low, because even though you draw a line from the real sun all the way to the right of your chart there, where someone's standing there and it's coming in maybe even at a 40-degree angle, well, that person is going to see that really far away, and that 40-degree angle is going to compress into the horizontal eye zone. Yeah. And that's going to be their sunrise set. And they're not going to be able to see the sun.
Right. Yeah.
A lot harder to draw.
It is. It is harder to draw. And it's,
right.
But I just thought it would be interesting just to try to do it just for fun, just to scale, just to see like how it really plays out. If there really was a little glowy ball, which I don't necessarily think there is.
And it's doesn't work, and then the weak-minded people will run and go, look, they just proved that their local sun dome doesn't work. And yeah, the way, a physical sun, one physical sun inside our dome doesn't work. I'll agree with that. It doesn't work.
Mm-mm.
In my opinion. Maybe it does work, but
No, it has to be multiple suns. It has to be. Everybody,
it has to be.
Yeah. That's why it's an apparent
And it explains, if you look at the sun, when you move a light across a dome, a bowl, whatever, and you see it, you'll see it, when it's far away, you don't see it. All of a sudden, you'll see it appear on the very edge, bottom edge, not below it. Then it'll rise over and it'll go to the other edge, and it never goes below that plane, and then it disappears. Well, that perfectly explains why the sun disappears so fast in the south in December, because it's going faster. So it does move over the dome at the same speed, but when it gets to the bottom, it's not going to hold that last light. That last light is no more 15 degrees per hour. It literally is just going away at that point because it's already gotten till we can see it, and then it just goes away. And that's why, many places in the South at different times have these super, light to dark transitions as compared to in June in the North, where it takes 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I got to say about that.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
See ya.
See ya. Thanks for calling.
Bye.
Bye. This is Dave. Dave's not here. Maybe the sun is reflecting off the dome like a flashlight. I don't know. I don't know if it's reflecting. I don't think it's reflecting. Light polarization also replicates this perfectly. How do globers explain the eclipses when the sun and moon are both above the horizon? I don't know. But I think they just say refraction or something, probably. I don't know. Right? So anyway, and even this little dome here, like say this is your vision, your dome vision. This is even too big. Because what is this? 44 points high. 1 point is 2 miles, so that's 88 miles, right? I don't even think it's that big, so. And the width is 88. I think it'd be even more closer to that, and that's on a super clear day. What your vision looks like, right? So let's say sun's over here. Right? And there's your little dome. I don't know. Makes sense to me. And I know it's not just one sun. It's it's like, here. Let's look at this. Hi, Dennis.
Hello, this is Dennis again. Sorry, what you were talking about, I just wanted to comment on, if that's just briefly. Well, two things. You mentioned a moment ago, somebody had asked a question, how do flat earthers explain an eclipse when both sun and moon are in the sky?
Mm-hmm.
I've got an answer for that. I guess first, what are they talking about? Are they talking about a solar or a lunar eclipse. And a solar eclipse, I mean, that's pretty straightforward, simple answer. I mean, that's where the moon passes in front of the sun. So that settles that right there.
It must be talking about the lunar eclipse, because that's the one that's always in question.
Yes, and that's the one I wanted to get at. And that, I mean, you or a number of people may disagree with this, but that's the one I had in mind to answer, because I saw I get the impression that I'll just get right to it. There's a lot of people in the flat Earth community don't believe that the moon and perhaps sun as well. I don't know, but I haven't examined the beliefs, but in depth of people in the flat Earth community. But I've seen the belief that the moon is not that it's a flat object, like a flat circle, as opposed to a sphere. I'll tell you what my belief is. It's more traditional. It is that the sun and moon are both globes, that they're spheres. And I've got Gregory Garrett's 3-volume work, which is excellent. I think I'd recommend it to anybody. There's just 2 points that I disagree with in the whole 3 volumes of it. And one of those, which I won't go into as much, they're related to celestial stuff, but one of them is the hologram view, and the other, and it has to do with this thing about the eclipse. I don't. The main reason he gives for refuting it as a globe, he says when eclipses of the moon happen, he says the shadow that passes over it does not act like a shadow passing over a ball. He's like, no way that he's saying that. And because you can tell when shadows pass over a globe or a sphere, they act in a certain way. It's clear and definite. And I gotta say, I agree with him about that. I mean, I don't object to that at all. My simple refutation of that is that when solar eclipses happen, I'm saying, and I believed this before I've been believing this for like 20 years or so, that when when lunar eclipses happen, that whole process does not involve any object, as far as I'm concerned. It's not technically an eclipse. It doesn't involve any object passing between the Earth and Moon, or any object passing between the observer and the Moon. All of that, 100% of that phenomenon takes place within the Moon itself. The Moon emits its own light, and something happens within the Moon. So I wouldn't expect it to.
Well, I don't know about that, Dennis. I don't know about that. I don't know. We don't know that for sure.
But if that's true, then that would explain why it doesn't act like the shadow of an object passing on it. So I at any rate, that's my viewpoint for that the traditional view that I maintain, that the moon is a globe, and that's my view of lunar eclipses, which it does satisfy everything. But the other thing, totally different subject. Anyway, I just wanted to put that out there. That's been my view for a very long time. But at any rate, the other thing, and I'll be real quick. About the firmament, when you said Bob said the sun's 3,000 miles, he thinks the sun is 3,000 miles up. Was that Bob Nodell by any chance?
Yeah, Globebusters.
Okay, yeah. Good to hear from him. I liked a lot of what he said about the at the conferences back in 2021 and earlier about the firmament. And my view on the firmament, I think I don't know what he thinks about this, but I think the sun and moon and all the stars are underneath the firmament. But Saint Basil, in his Hexameron, this is a book that's written back in the 4th century AD, by the way. And there's another one that's a longer. I've had it. It's by Ambrose of Milan, same century, closer to the year 400, though. But it has a lot in common with that. I think it's based on it. But at any rate, both of those, the one by St. Basil of Caesarea, the Hexameron, what that means on the 6-day creation, he's got a chapter there about the firmament, and he says that it goes with what I'm saying. I think the objects in the heavens are completely globular, and it goes with the nature of the heavens, because the dome of heaven is a half sphere itself, where the earth is flat. And the early Christians believed, like the temple in Jerusalem, which was the model of their cosmos, that the earth is not a flat circle, it's a flat rectangle, where the earth is, and that goes with what the Chinese and as far as I know, other ancient cultures did too. The Chinese had a saying that heaven is round, earth is square. That the infinity, that circular global thing goes with infinity. But the firmament in the early Christian cosmography, they viewed the dome of heaven as the firmament as two different physical objects, where the heaven was domed, curved, or a half sphere. The firmament had properties of both. It was flat on the top, and the underside of it was a dome. That's what they wrote. That's what Saint Basil wrote in his Hexameron, where it takes it's located halfway between the earth and the dome of heaven, and that's completely biblical, because it says that the firmament was created on the 2nd day, where heaven was created on the heaven and earth. God created them, made them on the Creator made them on the 1st day, but the firmament was made on the 2nd day, stands between earth and heaven. I believe the sun, the stars, moon are all underneath that. But I hadn't considered that, but that would be the floor of heaven, the flat part on the top of it. And that goes with other scriptures, like I think it's Psalm 104. He layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters. He's talking about stuff with the firmament there. I guess it would be David the psalmist. But anyway, that's the main part I wanted to say about the firmament, that it's a separate. And I've mentioned it to flat earthers before, and I think they don't have a view of two different. I've seen them. The majority view is that from Robotham, just one dome, and that's it. It's simplistic. It doesn't have like two domes or one dome with a firmament halfway in between. And some people, the response I've gotten from a couple people is, well, heaven's just infinite. And I'm like, do you believe in an enclosed world or not? So I believe the heaven, that's the kingdom of heaven, the part above the firmament, and the part of underneath is, well, you get the idea, but that's what that was my comment about the firmament. But I think a lot of what Bob Nodell's, regardless of what height he thinks the sun is, I tend to agree with you. It's a bit lower from what I've seen in Robotham, but that still needs some investigation. But yeah, that's what that was my basic framework for viewing the firmament, and the dome of heaven is two separate things. And I got that from like Saint Basil, Hexameron, and Cosmas Indicopleustes. In Cosmas in particular, it's like a theme throughout his whole work. There's the future state, which is above the firmament, and this world underneath it. And the only two humans who have pierced through it living are Enoch and Elijah. Anyway, that's all I got.
All right. Thanks, Dennis.
You got it.
So I kind of like just just sort of listening to what Dennis is saying, it kind of sounds like, like these ancients, and, they didn't have, allegedly, they didn't have the technology or the understanding that we do now. So they're going to describe things as they see it or understand it, right? At least I don't believe they had the technology that we do now, right? They don't have the optics. Even like the first telescope that supposedly they discovered a bunch of like cool stuff with, they were only like 20x. They're not even as good as the majority of cameras you can get today. Like the P900 is way beyond like the telescopes and optics that people like Copernicus were supposedly using. So to say that the ceiling, the top of it is flat and the inside is curved, or the inside is dome shaped, well, that to me is the same thing as saying the celestial ceiling is flat, but what we see is in the shape of a dome. I don't think there's a dome anywhere, is kind of my point. I don't think it's a physical, like, I believe that it's an enclosed system, but I think the only reason anybody thinks dome is because that's how we see. We literally see in a dome around us, in a dome shape around us, right? And we can't see through the ground, so it stops in the shape of a dome, right? Like if there was no ground, like say you're skydiving or something, then where do you see? You see in a whole circle around you. You can see below you, above you, any way you turn your head, your vision bubble is with you, right? Unless there's something obstructing that, which is usually the ground. So what we typically see is in a dome, but then the ceiling is flat. I guess that was my point of trying to make this illustration, right? To do this scale thing, like the actual physical makeup. Now, not that I'm saying that I know what it is, but the physical makeup of the realm, it's not like we are used to like saying and showing each other, where we've got the earth and the dome, the little snow globe thing. That I think is just a result of how our vision works, and it's how, and it's hard to get outside of that, because literally that's the only way you ever see the earth, is from your point of view, from inside your own head, out your eyeballs, with your physical vision. That's it. That's what you see, right? Unless somebody shows you or illustrates for you something different. So that was my point. I was trying to say that like the physical makeup of this place doesn't necessarily match what we see optically, if that makes sense. Melodome is a no-domer. Oh, the irony. We have limited perception. We got to work with what we got. Right. And so kind of what I'm thinking of is, when we look at this, let me see if I can find. Like this kind of thing. So this is like the Vedic version of the universe, right? So in closing the universe would be the cosmic egg. I don't believe it's a round like this, like it's made like a circle here. I think when people make these, they make them in circles, but I would think that it would be more like an egg shape, right? Like the cosmic egg. And then our plane is the one in the middle, Midgard or whatever. And it's the middle point, because as far as like, if you think in terms of pressure mediation, the middle would be like the Goldilocks zone, right? The pressure is not too high, it's not too low. It's right there in the middle. This is sort of like what I think they're encoding when they tell you that Earth is in the Goldilocks zone, like in the heliocentric model, right? It says, oh, Earth is just this far away from the sun. It's not too close. It's not too far. It's just in the perfect spot to sustain physical life. And I think this particular plane, this particular section of our realm wrapped inside of the cosmic egg is that Goldilocks zone, which is meant perfectly for this form of life, this form of existence, right? And so then you have the different layers where you go up and it becomes like a different plane of existence and another plane of existence and another one and another one. And then there's probably some below. I mean, I don't know, but it makes sense too, like with the different layers that you're seeing, like with the quantum locking and the acoustic levitation, especially that the acoustic levitation is used with quartz, like we were saying, right? Quartz, crystal, and a reflector. So these acoustic levitation. If I could find some more images for that, would be great. Here we go. Here's a little diagram. How acoustic levitation works. Sound pressure wave, pressure distribution, transducer, and then a reflector. And the dome, or the dome, or whatever, the celestial plate, is already often referred to as a reflector. So that's really fascinating. It could be working that way. You know, I mean, this is obviously a crude diagram. This is how we would make it work. And the mechanics of this actually being transferred into the physical realm, it's not going to look like this. But it would achieve the same thing, you know? It would achieve the same thing. What do you guys think? What do y'all think? Nodal points, yes. Ultralight. No one is ever going to know 100% what's going in the sky, sorry. I agree, Dave. But it's fun to talk about. I believe the ancient Hindi explanation has merit that invisible objects in the sky occults the moon. Okay, yeah, well, exactly. It could be... Right? Let me see if I can do it on the camera, right? So here, let's see. You see, I'm even going darker just by doing that. There we go. See? The paradox. Oh, can't see me now. Because what these sheets do is they change the polarization of the light. Right? So what could be happening is there could be fields. Everything's got a field, right? And when these fields cross, then you get darkness and lightness, right? It's fancy. Hello. Hey, Ben. Thank you for calling Coffee Talk. You're on with Karen B.
All right, testing, 1, 2, 3. Jesse from Hingham, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
There's an interesting one. Good. Actually, currently in Dallas, Texas right now. First off, just very quickly, I noticed Australia is begging for tourism business on their Facebook, on my Facebook page, and it seems like everywhere. And they're the ones, especially in the state of Victoria, that you couldn't go more than 5 kilometers from home without a special reason.
Oh, really?
So I don't know if people have short memories or whatnot, or I mean, I'm not giving them any of my business, even if I had the money to get down there. Yeah, Australia is literally begging for tourism right now, so maybe they realize they screwed up. I don't know. Back to what you were talking about, something just a little different, having to do with the Earth and whatnot. Just wondering, have you ever been out to so-called Meteor Crater in Arizona?
Yep. Yes, I have.
Yeah, me too. I was there in 2021. There's a guy named Terry R. Eicher. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Yeah.
And he has a very interesting theory. I guess Genesis 7:11, they say the fountains of the great deep broke up and the windows of heaven were opened. And I was looking at his video, and when you compare, so-called meteor craters, this one in Arizona, and then there are others in different parts of the world, every continent, and he points out that basically they're all roughly the same size. And then when you start looking at geyser craters, and then especially when you start looking at geysers when they're not erupting, there seems to be a pretty striking similarity in his theory. And I guess, who knows? I mean, I don't know. That maybe those were just the original geysers that went off during the flood. I don't know. What's your thought on that one?
Yeah, possibly. I've heard that before.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I've talked to a number of different people about that, and some people do say the same thing. I mean, definitely an interesting theory, and it is a striking resemblance for sure.
Yeah.
Also, I'm going to be hosting a meetup, and it's going to be Saturday, April 21st, I believe. If I got my calendar correct. Saturday, April 22nd, actually. 22nd. And that's Lake Eufaula, Oklahoma, Hummingbird Beach State Park. And we'll be setting up around 12, so however long people want to stay. And there's a lake there. We'll fire up the barbecue and whatnot. There'll be more details tomorrow, and then into you and Mark. So again, April 22nd, that is next month. Lake Eufaula, Oklahoma, Hummingbird Beach State Park.
Yeah.
Lake Eufaula State Park, rather, Hummingbird Beach.
All right, cool.
So anyway, how are things going in North Carolina?
Great, except for it got cold again.
Yeah, I hear you there. It's only about 50 in Dallas right now, so not too warm. Another very interesting theory, and I don't know if I guess you're talking to Brian a lot. The Mandela effect. Someone had reached out to me on this one. Remember the movie Back to the Future?
Yeah.
I mean, we all do. Of course. It talks about time travel, and there's a lot of predictive programming, and they predict 9/11, I think, very easily. They predict the flat Earth, the first 2 minutes of the movie. And then there's scenes where, like, the newspaper changes, the photographs change, even the name on the bridge at the very end of the third movie changes. And the theory that I stumbled upon is that what if some people in the elite have figured out how to actually go back in time and are actually making these subtle changes? And I never thought about that until someone had mentioned it. I mean, it seems plausible. I mean, I have no idea. I'm not going to say one way or the other. But the only thing that kind of actually makes sense the more I think about it.
Yeah, possible.
Because, there are so many things that, I don't think I'm crazy that I am noticing that just clearly have changed. That just doesn't make sense. Daylight savings time is one of them. And I just said the old version, but I guess it's now daylight saving time singular. And it's funny because I was actually looking at some residue on my own Facebook memories from 5 years ago. and I actually said, commenting on a video about daylight savings time, how daylight savings time is pointless, and me myself actually used, plural, and now it's, fair enough, it's singular. But that part didn't change what I actually typed. So, who knows? Just an interesting theory to throw out there.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I just wanted to quickly check in. It's been a little while. But hope all of you are doing well. Shout out to you. Shout out to Mark, Brian, Rick Hummer, late Rob Skiba, and Jake and Dan from the band, Sue Finelli, and so many others. I'm not thinking of off the top of my head right this split second.
All right.
Thank you so much. We'll talk to you again soon.
All right, later. Hey, Ben Balderson. But they pulled a lump of molten iron out of meteor craters, so it has to be from space. Yeah, it's so funny because they always talk about how a meteor, like what? Like, how do I identify a meteor? Let's look it up. Basically, a meteor is a rock with a high iron content. I think I found a meteorite. How can I tell for sure? Quite heavy for their size because they contain metallic iron and dense minerals. And a lot of times they're magnetic. Since most meteorites contain metallic iron, a magnet will often stick to them. So they'll be naturally magnetic. Unusual shape. Iron nickel meteorites are rarely rounded. Instead, they have irregular shape with unusual pits like fingerprints in their surface called regmaglyphs. Stony meteorites typically have a thin crust on their surface where it melted as it passed through the atmosphere. Meteorites do not have the following. Light-colored crystals. Quartz is common light-colored crystal in Earth's crust, but is not found in other bodies in the solar system. Wait, what? Like, they even know. You know, they don't know what they... Anyway. So, that's all it is like a magnetic rock with iron in it. And that's what they call... That's why they say it comes from space. But they found them all on Earth, okay? And nobody has ever seen a rock fall from the sky and then gone and, like, picked it up and been like, yes, this rock is... absolutely 100% have seen it come from the sky. It came from the sky. You know, nobody's ever done that. They just make assumptions based on how this was formed. What my opinion is that meteorites are just rocks. And I keep saying this, I think it's just left over from when the Earth formed. Because I imagine the Earth forming from the formless deep, having been electrified into starting to form and having that electrical process start. Part of the electrical process is the heat. You know, you need to create the heat to sustain life. So that whole, whatever's happening under the surface, the electrical process under the surface that creates the magma or the molten rock or the heat that emanates from the center, or not the center, but that emanates from below the Earth. Obviously, it's not a molten core, but there is some sort of electrical process going on that creates this. And that's all I think these these meteorites are just rocks that are formed from that process. Maybe when the Earth was first formed, maybe, I don't know that they still form. Maybe they do. I don't know. But being that it's iron, probably not. But, you know, they call them rocks from space, but probably what they are is really some of the oldest rocks on Earth, and it's from when the Earth was forming. Truth detective, ME denier, and matrix denier needs to wake up. What does that mean, matrix denier? And these people who put truth in their name, they're like hardly ever really after finding out truth. They're after pushing their beliefs on everybody as as the truth, which is why they put truth in their name. They're not actually after any sort of real truth. What about meteorites they find in the snow? What meteorites they find in the snow? It doesn't matter. They all found them on Earth. I think it's particles that pull together and move out of plasma state. Yeah, probably. But there could be a number of other explanations that are much more plausible than it fell out of the sky and melted through the atmosphere. Karen B. Electricity is secret ingredient when making snowflakes in a laboratory. You know what? I think electricity is the secret ingredient when they do any of these, when they create any of these gems, anything that they do. I think electricity is the secret when they create fake opals. Because, let's see. Just because the way it looks. Oh, whoops, I spelled opal wrong. God, I suck at typing. Okay, so here's a fake opal. Synthetic opal. Now see how this opal has these straight lines going up and down in it? Would like to find a picture of synthetic opal versus real opal. Here we go. New and improved, see here it is. New and improved synthetic opal, beware. Okay, so on the right, this is a synthetic opal and what synthetic opal typically looks like. And it's very easy to identify because of the long strands, because natural opal doesn't form that way. They don't have long strands in it. It's much more irregular than that. Oh, where's my opal necklace that I got from Ben? Oh, it's right here. I was gonna put it on this board. Maybe we could take a look at it while we're talking about it. Oh no. Hold on. So let me turn on this. Okay, so here's the opal. And you can see it's actually really irregular, right? Like you don't have a straight strand in an opal. It's highly irregular. Okay. And so this, and this on the left, this is the new and improved fake opal. Okay, so there's this lab who has created a new way to fake the opal, and they call it a proprietary process, right? So they don't tell you, it's a secret. But they made it so that when they create these synthetic opals and they're hardening, that instead of forming in these long strands, that forms in a more irregular way, like this on the left, right? And it is my opinion that they are possibly running some sort of frequency or electrical charge into their mixture for their synthetic opal solution, so that as before it hardens, all of these different little faces can form, and it gives you that much more highly irregular look. So there's something to this. You know, there's something to the way this works. It definitely has an effect on how these rocks form, especially if you, going back to what we were looking at earlier, all the magnetic maps, the magnetic anomaly maps are very closely related to where you find the most of the gems and stuff out in Earth. Just a mess of color. Yeah, isn't it awesome? Never be as cool as a real thing. Well, I agree. Hello from Nova Scotia, right? So they're doing something. They're figuring out some way to create that irregular look. But even still, though, I think, you know, if you really know what to look for, you're still gonna see that that the opals, a real opal, is just awesome. Trying to find a good spot here. It's hard to. There we go. Bing. Look at all that purple, like every color. I freaking love this thing. It's one of my favorite pieces. I mean, look at that. I mean, so why wouldn't they want to imitate that? You know, that's highly sought after, stuff like that. Agate is best after sun gazing. Yeah. That's called, let me see if I could say it right. Anisotropic. Anisotropic is where the property of a material which allows to change or assume different properties in different directions as opposed to isotropy. So that's how you get those different reflections of all those different lights. It is because the material is anisotropic. The refractive index, and that's when we're talking about the refractive index, right? Yeah. Also, I am streaming on Rumble. I haven't even checked that stream. But just for future reference, if something ever happens to my YouTube channel, I am streaming to Rumble now. So if the YouTube channel ever goes down, Rumble, Rockfin, Facebook, typically Twitch, although I haven't been able to get my stream to work on Twitch for almost 2 weeks now, and I don't know why. And I haven't really pursued any help with that from Twitch because, well, nobody watches Twitch anyway. But probably Rumble and Rockfin will be the best alternatives if something ever happens to the YouTube channel. Okay? Just letting y'all know, just for future reference. Orville Dam spillway opened up. All experiments to measure refraction were conducted in excuse me, isotropic environments. Excuse me. This is why I did not stream Friday, because I've been going through detox and I had a residual cough. So excuse me for coughing in your ear. Isotropic environments, but Earth's atmosphere is anisotropic, so the standard refraction argument is BS. Well, we already know there's no such thing as standard refraction. Excuse me. Maybe I've been talking too much. Maybe time to wrap it up soon. I'm gonna look at something under the microscope real quick though. I got this new material. It's actually really cool. Covalite and pyrite. So this piece has pyrite in it and covalite. I'm not sure what the white mineral is. Maybe that's quartz. But I did think I saw with my bare eyes on here a place where there was a cube or a pyrite, what looked like a pyrite square. Let me see where that place was on here. This thing is so hard to... There it is. You see it? Right there. Look how big my fingernail looks under here. Right there. That little pyrite cube. I just thought that was so cool. That, you know, everywhere on the little macro. Why am I hearing the dog whining? All right. Anyway. The whole reason they hide Effie is to hide the Matrix? What do you mean? What do you mean they hide Effie is to hide the Matrix? You know what Matrix just means, like, mother or womb, right? The womb. Matrix is the womb. Or the situation or surrounding substance within which something else originates, develops, or is contained. Like certain minerals will start in a matrix. There'll be a seed crystal or a starting point within the matrix, and then you'll see crystals attached to a matrix. Do I have one like that right here? And it just means the starting point, or the womb, right? So like this is black tourmaline in a matrix. Or if you see a pyrite cube, which I have a pyrite cube is not here. I don't know where it is. It's somewhere, but it's attached to the matrix. Matrix just means the womb. Matrix is also a rectangular array of numbers in mathematics. No, Ben. We definitely don't live in the Matrix movie type thing. I'm not sure what this person means by hiding the Matrix. What is the Matrix to you? Thank you for the super chat, by the way. But what is the Matrix to you? Because, can you be more specific? Because he is whining. A simulation? Yeah, see, I don't believe we live in a simulation. And I've gone over this before. A simulation is what people think we live in because that is how they understand. That's how they can reconcile understanding the scope of this place or how it was made, right? Because whenever we imitate nature or we imitate, or whenever we do anything, we're imitating nature, right? Or whenever we make a simulation, right? Or we use a computer to make a simulation, to make models of things that could happen in the world. If they want to use a model to see, you know, where the hurricane's going to end up, it's a simulation, right? We simulate Earth, but we can't. I don't believe we live in a simulation, because what is a simulation? A simulation is a copy. It's either a copy, or it means that it's a simulation inside of a computer program. And I just don't believe that we are a simulation inside of a computer program. I mean, that to me is like the same thing as, you know, you might as well think you live on a globe. Because if it's a simulation, if it's a computer simulation, then why wouldn't Earth just be a globe? You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's a simulation, you could put any type of rules that you wanted to in there. And there would, I mean, would there even be any point in arguing about it? I don't know. A level stationary world with a dome above it. Okay, you got here late. We already went through, we were just talking about how we don't really think, or at least I don't think there is a dome. The dome only comes from our vision of, our sphere of vision. It's how we see things. We see things in a 360-degree bubble all around us, right? That's where the dome is. It's in your mind, right? It's in your mind because you visually see that way, and so you're assuming that's what it actually is, but it's not. It's how you're seeing it. It could just be flat. The ceiling could be flat. This could just be one of the many different levels of this universe, right? One universe, but we've got our different levels of consciousness, existence, or whatever. But there doesn't have to actually be a dome, right? So like what I was drawing here is like, here's the Earth. The green line is the Earth plate. The blue line is the celestial plate. You know, and right down here, this is how you see. You're inside of here. You're this little person. And this is not to scale. You're in here, right? And this is you, and this is how you see all around you. And you don't really see beyond that. You can only see so far. Once it gets outside of the angular resolution, and it gets too far through the atmos, and things eventually become so far away, it's out of your sphere of vision. But there doesn't actually have to be a dome, you know? Yeah, but I'm not saying there's nothing on the sides. So like, okay. Well, let me go over here. So here, like, let me delete this. This is where the 3,000 mile mark is. Okay, so let me delete that. So what it would be then, is you would have like around it, here's the egg, right? So here's would be like this. Right? But I can't zoom out anymore because my thing's too big. But like, let me just change this. Let's see if I could just change this here. So this would go up more, right? Because it's more like an egg, right? And then you would have the different layers. So then that's our Earth realm. So then here's another realm. And then here's another one up here, right? And then here's one up here. Maybe there's some below. Maybe they're down here, right? So then there'll be some down here, but all within the cosmic egg with your different levels going up and down, you know? And then when you get to up here, I don't know what happens when you get up here. I don't know. I can't really go much further than that. You know what I'm saying? But the whole thing is not that there is no enclosure. I'm not saying there's no enclosure, like we're just wide ass open, infinite plane style, because I don't know if I can, you know, really believe that either. But this kind of makes sense to me. Is that really how it is? I don't know. I certainly don't know. I certainly would never presume to know for a fact, but I mean, that's sort of how I'm picturing it. After watching the stars from 27 north and 43 north for some years, you can see how it's our perception. The dome moves as you move north and south. Exactly, because it's your point of view. It's your perspective. Layer cake realm, which holds in the air. Yeah. Yeah. Sort of like a layer cake realm. Sundogs? So, okay, Brandon, sundogs. This is a good question. Again, in our atmos, right? What's the third most plentiful substance in our atmosphere? It's water. It's droplets of water, dude. So those droplets of water, in the same way that all those little tiny droplets of water act as one big magnifying glass in the atmosphere, like in those videos that Rob Skiba did, where the building, how it looks, size proportionally when he's at different distances, it doesn't match because of the atmospheric lensing, which is a phenomena that does happen, right? So let's look that up. Let's see if we can find anything about that. Atmospheric refraction. Lensing. Atmospheric lensing debunked. See, look it. They've already tied that to be that comes up when you search that flat earth debunking videos come up. But he even showed here.
Atmospheric conditions. I don't believe we're dealing with some kind of magic where it's going, beaming the city over the curve.
Let me find where he talks about it.
Across, and this is the area right here where those people were walking. And the boat, as you could tell by the size of the people on the boat, wasn't too much further beyond that. So maybe a half mile to a mile, or at the most, I would say, away from where we were. All right, now when I was headed back to Chicago to catch my flight, I snapped this picture of the Willis Tower. And this is, if you go on Google Earth, this is right about the area right here where I believe I was when I took that picture. Looking across, it's only about 0.6 of a mile. So I'm just a little over a half mile away, and look at the size of the tower as compared to the car that was diagonal in front of me. We were looking at the Willis Tower from this direction right here when we were on the other side of the lake. Now, Okay, so let me slide the car over and shrink it down to the appropriate scale beside the boat. Do you see something rather interesting here? This building is significantly magnified.
Right, so here...
The image on the left...
Yeah, so the image on the left is him right there on the ground next, in the city, taking a picture of it, and this is far away. So yeah, there is a magnification effect from the atmosphere, right? So if all of the, and this is just me thinking out loud, this is how I reconcile it, okay? If all of those water droplets get together and they act in the same way as a magnifying lens in this way, well, then I could conceive how there would be, if the sun was at a certain elevation and there was a certain moisture level or humidity level in the atmos at that particular time, then all those same water molecules that act like a lens, an atmospheric lens in this way, can also act like as if there is a glass bowl around you in a dome shape, and then where you're seeing, and then you're visualizing the sun, or the focal point that manifests as the sun inside your dome of vision is then being reflected around you from the water content in the air. That's how I would possibly explain that. Why don't you just, I just don't... Oh my goodness, you guys. We don't need to argue. So, what do you guys think about that? Who asked me that question about sun dogs? Does that seem like a viable explanation for sun dogs? So, if the molecules in the air act like are able to work like a lens, I think it could also work the other way as well. And that would be a good explanation for sun dogs. It could also be, it makes sense with rainbows. Yeah, Claptrapism gifted a whole bunch of memberships to people. So thank you, Claptrapism, for giving everybody memberships. All those people memberships. If you all got a membership, thanks, Claptrapism, for your free membership. Atmosphere is not anisotropic. Do you even know what that means? Double refractive. Yeah, I don't know how the atmosphere could be anisotropic. I mean, we see in full light spectrum. No? Yeah, it was like 30 memberships. Okay, I feel like nobody was listening. I've heard of gravitational lensing, but not atmospheric lensing. Okay, atmospheric lensing. I'll play the rest of the video.
Of the bottom of the buildings, and perhaps due to
you want to learn about
the density in the atmosphere, there's additional refraction that takes place that makes it drop down even more. Is that what happened? Let's look at it from another angle here, from the side view. I'll bring our graphic back in of refraction. Let's go ahead and orient the graphic so it better represents what we're looking at here. I'll angle the light rays to show the density of the air here causing the refraction. and bring our lens in so we can magnify the city. It brings the city up, and as it does so, we start to lose a little bit of the bottom of the city, and perhaps either due to the magnification or due to additional refraction, maybe it is dropped down a little bit more, and this is what we end up with. Huh.
Because the images, things compress in the distance.
Just like we saw. Now this is a still frame from the half-hour video that I did, and the numbers you see there are all based on the numbers that Tony was giving me based on his device. His device said it was 37 nautical miles, which is 42.6 statute miles, but when you plot the same exact location that we were at, the exact distance you get on Google Earth is 46 miles. So you basically add about 4 miles to all the numbers that you saw in the half-hour video. But I'm beginning to think if that is indeed the science, and let's just go back and hear from the experts once again what's happening with the atmosphere.
The science is the same of that of a lens. Here's a simple example.
So if you're looking at Chicago here, just maybe now you can just see the top of the Sears Tower, and if our simulated temperature inversion moves into place, hopefully now you can see pretty much all of Chicago,
See all the lower buildings,
including what's at ground level.
So the atmosphere really is acting like a lens.
Yes.
So the atmosphere really is acting like a lens, according to the experts. Now, you guys don't need to go out and spend tens of thousands of dollars to get that pretty piece of paper to hang up on the I Love Me wall and put letters after your name so that you can call yourself an expert.
Wall.
You can be an expert with what you see here on the screen. Yep, believe it or not. Go to Walmart, and your advanced degree in atmospheric lensing technology will cost you just a couple dollars. You can get a 2x power lens for about $1.85, I think, at Walmart. Get yourself some Scotch tape. Then if you look in the description below, you'll see I put a PNG file of a city. You can print that up and chair, and the chair will act as a dolly, so you can just kind of pull the chair back, and looky here. Look what happens with atmospheric lensing. Wow, isn't that amazing? And you didn't have to go to college either. Now, you can get in a boat and drive to Chicago, and wow, look at that. Now, let's compare. See? Look at this. This is how much of the city was lost simply due to atmospheric lensing. Now remember, the experts, the guys that spent tens of thousands of dollars to get advanced degrees in this stuff so that people would recognize that they're smart, they told you the science really is that of a lens. Now, of course, the first time I posted something like this on YouTube, the baltards came out from under every rock on this plane
This is how I knew
make fun of me and say I didn't know what I was talking about with refraction. That's not how it works.
That's how I knew Rob Skiba was a flat earther before he admitted that he was a flat earther, is he started using globetards and baltards. He started using the word globetard. Rest in peace, Rob Skiba. He did a lot of great work. But so there you go. That's what's going on. The atmosphere is working in different ways, and it really affects how we see things. It's really interesting. One of the coolest things, or one of the best things you can do if you're new to flat earth, or if you want to understand more about the world we live in, is just to make observations like this. And I spent a lot of time looking through the camera, looking far away, all this kind of stuff. And it really does, it really varies, even just day to day, how far you can see, even if you go to the same spot, and look the same spot, looking the same distance at the same landmark, you're not going to see the same thing every time you go there, right? And it really just goes to show how dynamic how dynamic the atmosphere is for this place. I know, I can't believe he's gone either. Isn't that sad? Am I bumming you guys out listening to Rob Skiba? I'm sorry. Yeah. So anyway, and Rockfin, my Rockfin page. Let me go check over here. All right. He was murdered by medical protocols. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Sorry, Nora. But he did great work, and it is great to go back and reference it because he did a lot of stuff because he was very skeptical. You know, Rob was very skeptical of the flat Earth, and he wasn't just gonna go for anything. He really, really scrutinized stuff for a long time, and that was one of the things that really made me like Rob Skiba, is because I stumbled across his stuff right at the very beginning when I was researching it, and so I was watching a lot of his videos, and I actually came to the conclusion that I was like, yes, definitely the Earth is not a globe, before Rob Skiba was openly saying that. He was like, yeah, it definitely is not, you know, but even before he was really openly admitting it, he was using terms like globetard and balltard and stuff, but but yeah, he did a lot to make some really analytical observations, which helped me learn how to explore stuff, you know, or explain stuff, help me understand, you know, what was going on. Because, you know, just like, you know, a lot of times in debates, Austin Whitsitt says, you know, that debunking the globe does not necessarily you don't have to have a replacement for the globe to debunk it, which I agree with. You don't have to. However, if you accept, you know, that the globe doesn't make sense, well, then you start to ask, and naturally so, the natural progression for that is, well, then how does it work? What's going on, right? And so that was where I found Rob's videos really, really valuable, was that he did a lot to explain, you know, what was going on, the alternative to that. Ex-Jew flat earther undubbed from Brian and Karen, blocking people for their opinions. Actually, I didn't block you because of your opinion. I blocked you because you were disrupting my chat, arguing and talking crap about, and, you know, arguing with people and disrupting the chat and bringing up Mac, our old friend Mac, who passed away, R.I.P. Mac. And I don't need that crap. We don't need you in here shitting all over the chat room. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's fine if you want to have a conversation about something, which I was willing to have a conversation about the Matrix and the dome thing that you were mentioning before, because you were saying that there's a dome, and I'm saying, well, I don't really think there is a dome. I think the dome is in the vision. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can have a conversation about these things, but when you start insulting people, that's when you get blocked, dude. I love it when people, you know, want to come in and like start acting all shitty, and then they go, oh, you're censoring me. You blocked me just for having a different opinion. No, it's because you're not being a nice person. You're not being civil. If you can't participate in the chat civilly, well, then just go away, dude. I just don't need that crap. I don't like it. It's distracting. And now you have me complaining on my stream again. So that's what's up. All right. And it's 1 o'clock. This is about the time I usually wrap it up anyway. So why don't I just wrap it up? Anyway, it was cool. That was quite a variety of talks, of subjects there. Probably some other stuff we'll probably touch on more. I just thought it was interesting. I thought it would be interesting to try to look at a side view of the distance of the plane, right? Like the distance from end to end, and then what the up and down proportion looks like compared to the width, right? The length and width of the realm, because we usually only see, you know, certain representations of it. And we can get stuck in these images that are in our minds, right? Like I get stuck in it. I admit that I get stuck in it, which is like one of the things, like, you know, with the ball and the toroid, and you just are stuck in, you know, imagining that dome over the earth because that's how we see the world. But is there a dome? Probably not. But it is enclosed. I do believe it's enclosed. I don't think it goes on forever. But who knows? It's interesting to talk about and think about. Karen, love the way that you think in a good book that explains this, Worlds Beyond the Poles. Yeah. Well, here, let me make sure you give your wrench back then, rethink. Yeah, just over it. So anyway, thanks for being here. Thanks to everybody who called in. Thank you once again to Claptrapism for gifting so many people subscriptions to my channel. It's fantastic. So I really hope to see all of you new subs in the chat tomorrow smashing those cool custom emojis that I made. Because I like to see it. It's like the cheap thrill. It's such a cheap thrill. In the Greek Bible, they call it the stereoma, which means solid. Yeah. Has a model like Ham Walter. It has a model like yours. World Beyond the Poles. Oh, because that's the Hollow Earth thing, right? Where it talks about Hollow Earth. Yeah, that's the other thing, man. The cosmic egg. You know, if you want to talk about the Hollow Earth stories, absolutely 100%. You know, if maybe in the cosmic egg, you know, we're the dividing line between the physical and the metaphysical, right? Because this is the realm where the physical and the metaphysical seem to collide, right? We've got more unseen forces than we've got seen forces. So, you know, it could be that there's a realm below, right? And that the entrance to said realm, you know, is at the center, right? If you believe that story, that there's an opening in the center of the earth, why can't I get these to go in the center? Right? So if there really is an opening at the center of the earth, then doop, you would see right here. This would be like the escalator, kinda. Interesting. If you could go down inside of here that way, I mean, who knows? Who knows? Flat Earth and Hollow Earth are not mutually exclusive. Oh, the endless plane. Gonna miss the elevator music. All right, you guys. I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I do appreciate you all. I will be back tomorrow evening at 10 p.m. with Mark Sargent for Strange World once again. And of course, Saturday for Anti-Religious Scriptures Study. And maybe somewhere in between. Although, really, I need to get working on my second episode of, finish my second episode of Anarcho-Verotistas for everybody. So I'll be working on that probably. And I hope you all have a happy, wonderful rest of your week. I would just encourage everybody to, you know, try to take it easy, try to meditate. There's been a lot of negative energy flow going around here lately. I don't really know what's going on. I feel like I'm in the dark, but it is what it is. So I'll just say that, you know, I'm sending out positive energy to everybody, sending out love and light. You know, I would really like to, you know, raise the positivity levels, we'll say. Because I don't know about raising vibration. I think all of the different frequencies of vibration serve a purpose. And I like what Eileen McCusick says, where she says, raise your voltage, your amperage, right? Increase the love, increase the magnetic field, increase the amperage, and all that good fun stuff. All right, you guys. So have a wonderful day, and I will see you all tomorrow night. All right, take care. And for those who wish to send me stuff through snail mail, you can send it to P.O. Box 10, Earl, North Carolina, 28038. There are also links below for Flat Earth merch, and you can send me donations. And I do appreciate all the support. Sincerely, thank you very much. Also, please go to flatearthfestivals.com for all information about upcoming Flattoberfests and Flat Earth-friendly local meetups. If you are organizing a local Flat Earth meetup, email me at flatearthfestivals@protonmail.com with your meetup information to have it listed on the website for free. For everything else, you can email me at karenbfe@protonmail.com. Thank you for being here.